Okay, now when we are talking about board, we have this frame. Again, we have this frame. Now, what is this frame all about? This frame is space. This frame is space. So you have the visual space and you have the physical space, as I talk about when I talk about acting or direction or whatever. The space, when you are capturing with the camera, you have the visual space and how you arrange the elements, how you compose, how you put things within this frame. So you can tell a lot with all these things. What you are putting here, what you are putting here, what you are putting here, what you are putting here. Symmetry, texture, contrast, then your rhythms and patterns, perceptions and illusions, then depth, how you are designing depth, how you are putting one thing in the foreground, another thing in the background. We have mentioned all these things, but overall you have the visual space. You are arranging all these things with art direction, production design, and you are capturing those things with camera. To put it in very lucid words. And what you have time. Time is the duration of the movie. So chronological time you can have a linear timeline, you can have a non-linear timeline. So space and time. So what we are playing with, space and time. And what we get is emotions. The actors, they are giving us emotions. Cast and crew, everybody is part of that emotion. And the audience, they are also getting it. So how we tell the story, space and time. And how we are shooting the scene, how we are doing staging and blocking, marking the positions, how we are going to use a particular camera technique and what is the need for that. That is why visual language, you need to understand the visual language, the cinematic language, and you need to understand what it is doing to that particular story. Because economics, if I talk about economics, if I talk about managing your resources, we have suppose for 2 hours, suppose for 3 hours, and we don't have any time to waste. So each and every second, each and every frame is important if you want to do it diligently. Now, if you want to make it for 2 hours, then you are doing the movie for 2 hours. If you want to cut it short for cinematic purposes, you want to do that because you want to make the best movie you can possibly make. So if you are putting 10 minutes extra, that can take people away from the story. So how you are doing editing? So you are arranging the elements, you are capturing it with the camera. Performers are performing, directors are directing, cast and crew, and then you are editing. Then you are shaping the movie. Then when it is going to the theaters, again you have the exhibition. You have the theaters where you are looking at the screen and you are looking at the visual language, how the artists came together and they created a movie. Then the audience is getting elated. People are getting motivated. They are feeling those emotions, tension, relaxation, that emotion. They are laughing, they are crying, they are at the edge of their seats, And time, how it is evolving through the timeline. And how you are arranging the story itself. So not only within the frame, you are arranging the visual elements and you are getting one particular frame. Now, when you are making the entire movie, you have a lot of dailies, you have a lot of rushes, you have a lot of shots and sequences, and how you are arranging all these things with editing. And finally, you are getting the movie. Right? So space and time. Now we have talked about the visual language. We have talked about management and, guiding the team, how you are doing collaboration. I just mentioned, if you have understood it, you must have understood that we are talking about management, managing people, managing your resources. And then, if it is a performance, that can be on stage. So when you are capturing a performance, a theatrical performance, for the camera, many people are doing that. Suppose a play is happening, suppose a singing performance is happening, a concert is happening. Many people are, capturing that. Some people are using close-ups. In many instances, people have used long shots so that you get the entire space, how the artist is performing and, what is in the background. Because many people are playing with the background, lights they are using the decoration, art direction, all these things are there so that you have an experiential communication. But even if you are doing that, you want to go for a close-up, you are using multiple cameras. So, the artist is performing, we are getting the close-up. And you have the background and the artist and the space. You can have that on stage performances, concerts and performances. And for cinema, we have a lot of opportunities because we can play on the editing table. So we can play with those editing techniques and we can have a story. But today I want to mention sound design and sound editing. You can do it while the shoot, or you can do it in post-production. And sound effects you can use, Foley you can use, and how you are doing the sound coverage. So with the camera, you are doing the visual coverage of a scene, how you are going to choose a particular shot, how you are going to depict the scene cinematically, visual language, and how you are going to use sound to tell the story. So designing the sound, perspective, coverage. Why? Because for an actor, you want to capture the sound in a particular way. You are using lapel mic, lavalier, Maybe you are using boom. So outside the frame, you have a boom. On the shoot, you have seen, Let me just draw and you will have some idea. So if this is the shooting scene, so you will have, let me just do it here. If you have the shooting scene, suppose this is the actor standing, you have the camera, people are shooting with the camera, this is the cinematographer, other people are there. So people are holding the boom here. Occasionally we don't mention it, many people don't mention it, but you need to understand all these things. This boom is capturing the sound, ambient sound you can capture, dialogue, things happening during the shoot, on the set. And you can use some microphone which is closer to the actor so that you can have perspectives regard to the sound. With regard to the sound, you can have some perspectives. And if you haven't captured something, you can play with that in the post-production, and you can use Foley sound effects, and you can create some sound which can give you an idea of what is happening in the particular scene. So here we are capturing with camera, here we are capturing with the sound equipments. We can design, we can edit, we can do dialogue editing, we can do sound editing, and overall we are getting the entire movie. So this is not only just visual, we are having a visual space where we are putting things together and we are capturing the frame. We are having the oral communication. People are using sound, people are using sound design, sound editing, sound effects if needed. During the shoot, you are doing something. Post-production, you are doing something. And together, how you are doing the editing, how you are putting things together, and you are using special effects if needed, visual effects. Then you are having the movie. Ultimately, we are telling the story.